Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. So just a couple of seconds. We're just waiting on everybody to tune in. Are we ready there, Deirdre? So big happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the 11 o'clock free live class, which happens most Fridays here at Flowerschool. So as always, we better do the weather forecast around the country. So anybody that's watching, and even if you're outside Ireland, let's make us just mad jealous and tell us what the weather's like over your part of the world. Now here in Dublin, the sun has just come out, because I was on to the students early this morning and I said, you know what, it's a real overcast day. It's hot, it's clammy, it's sort of sweaty, but it's like the sun has just come out. The sky is getting nice and blue, and it looks like it's going to be a fabulous day, and it is very warm. Our Module 1 students are all getting their first fresh flower delivery this evening, and obviously as they're only starting off, none of them would have like cooling units. So there's a big panic this morning, which is the coolest room in the house, where they're going to store the flowers, trying to keep them as fresh as possible. So if there is anybody watching, start telling us what's the weather like around your part of the city or your part of the world. For anybody new that's watching, my name is Janette. Maybe you haven't met me before. We have Deirdre on camera, and I know we're live here on the YouTube channel, our Instagram channel, and also on our Facebook channels. And then we have Janette, who's remotely working. She's over in Scotland, and any links or any posts that we need sorted out, Janette's there to do all the techie part in the background. So again, introduce yourself, let us know who's watching. And because we're using StreamYard, sometimes we can't see your name. So if your little comment comes up and says, accept StreamYard, so that we can see your profile, just click on that. The other thing that we need you to do is click share. Now, I have lots of things planned for you this morning, and we're going to have lots of giveaways. While we're just waiting to do the weather forecast around the world, is there anybody watching that has somebody sitting the Leaving Certificate examination? It would have started on Wednesday, okay? Start putting their name in the comments, because we have a little giveaway for anybody doing the Leaving Cert. So how's things going, Deirdre?
Yes, lots of comments coming in. Facebook is very slow to join us. But Facebook have really fecked up with their algorithm at the moment, and trying to get reach on Facebook is a disaster.
Do you remember last week we were asking you to do all the smiley faces and the hearts and so on, but it didn't really work. So I think we're trying to kind of trick Facebook. So this week we're going to go back to the shares. So if you're watching there, we'd really appreciate there, just to get the Facebook kind of moving, if you can click share. And if you happen to be part of a group, we'd really appreciate if you actually shared it into maybe one of your flowery groups that you happen to be a member of. We'd really appreciate it. So go and click share. It only takes 2 minutes, or even just click share and share it to your own profile page. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, the weather actually seems to be, well, it's dull in Laois. I just see Marjorie's coming up there. It's good morning. It's dull in Manchester as well.
Oh.
So, but around Dublin anyway, it's definitely getting the good weather.
Yeah, definitely getting the good weather.
Somebody was on there from Northern Ireland, and they were saying, oh, it's full sun in Kildare, overcast in Galway. And they're not a bit jealous of the sun that's here. Even from Burke, New South Wales in Australia, which is warm there.
Probably warm there. Yeah. You're going to be making us mad jealous. Absolutely. So here in Ireland, we're waiting until I think it's the 18th of July, till Micheál Martin, as we know, is going to eventually let the Irish leave the country. You know that way. So how's everybody getting on with the vaccinations? I got my second vaccination yesterday. Have to say, didn't knock the breeze out of me. Arm is a little bit sore, and it's gas. The last time my arm didn't hurt me at all. Do you know the way? If you remember last time, I got the abscess on the tooth, and I was kind of like laid up for about a week after that. But it's gas this time now. I have to say, it's a little bit kind of tender. Nothing to moan about, nothing to worry about. But other than that, not a bother off me. And Deirdre, you got yours about 4 weeks ago. Your second one.
Yeah.
So we're all fully vaccinated here at Flowerschool. What about the rest of you? Did any of the rest of you get vaccinated?
Oh, I see. Like number 2 has tuned in.
Hey, Paul. How are you?
To show you that.
I know.
About him. I keep forgetting. Yeah.
She did mention it, but I'll get on to that today. Now, a couple of things I have to show you. And again, in the meantime, while you're watching there, any questions, post them in the comments below. So people always ask us about wedding flowers this time of the year, and like how to make the flowers last longer, or if they're doing flower crowns, or if they're doing buttonholes and corsage work, you know, that way, how can they maybe make them a couple of days in advance, you know, I mean, just take the pressure off them, you know, the way, and to prolong the life of the flowers. So there is a way called the hydration unit, and we use this here at the school. And again, we recommend our students to do. It's a very old school idea, But I'm actually amazed at the amount of florists out there who actually have never come across it or maybe don't know what it's about. So what do you need? You need what we call a Tupperware box, you know that way. So any L ones watching there, remember the Tupperware parties. But basically, one of them little boxes, you know, with the lids that clip onto them. And here in the school, we have them in all colours. In case you're wondering what that is, that's a Christmas napkin. I haven't got any kitchen roll here. Well, the kitchen roll I have is, you know, like the blue roll or whatever. And I didn't want to use the blue in case the dye off it may come off on the flowers. Hopefully Happy Christmas won't come off. So the only thing I could find was just basically napkins. So what I've just done here, and maybe take a few notes on this, so anybody that's watching there that's interested in bridal work, this will definitely interest you. So I've just dipped the napkin down into cold water. And just in the end of the box here, I'll just kind of lift them up there. You can see I just have 2 napkins, okay? And you can see there, they're sopping wet. Can you see the drip coming out of them? There's no water as such in the end of that container. It's just the water dripping off them. And if I had one big piece of kitchen towel, the one piece would have done, okay? So I'm just layering the bottom of the box there with the kitchen towel, or in my case, the kitchen napkins, okay? Or the Christmas napkins. And then I have a third one, okay, in my case, and I'm just going to try and open this one out without tearing it to bits. Now, I'm lucky that I've no false nails. I'm getting the nails done this afternoon. I absolutely can't wait. There we go. Can you see that I've just opened that out? And again, that is sopping wet. So these are just flowers that we were working with during the week. So you know yourself, we're always adding to our online tutorials. So we did another like pre-record of a wedding table center arrangement, and we will be loading that up. You know the way we always come live on a Friday? Well, there's always some Fridays, something happens or there's something on or whatever. So Deirdre said during the week, let's make a pre-record video, and then one of the Fridays that we can't actually come on live, we'll actually have something to post. We would have done that last Friday. Last Friday, we weren't able to come on live. And what we did, well, it was a bank holiday weekend, and that was why we had taken the Friday off. So remember, I had the faux flower silk wreath posted. So again, that's still on the page if anybody wants to maybe pop over and have a look at that, or you'll definitely find it on our YouTube channel. And we are looking for people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Can't say all that altogether. So if you do have a moment later on, we'd really appreciate if you would Google YouTube, look up Kay's Flower School, and subscribe to the channel. We're always posting up free video tutorials there. Anything that you got to tell us?
Mary Summer says less of the L ones, please. I'll see about the Tupperware
So you
party.
remember the Tupperware parties. I remember my mum had them, and of course all the neighbours in the house, and we all had the Tupperware boxes.
Yeah, I remember we went for a picnic and drinking the orange.
That's it, yeah, the ice pops. Remember making the ice pops with the My Body orange, you know that?
Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
Loads of people are getting their vaccinations. I see Trish Kenny got her first one today. So loads of people are saying they've got their first one.
She must be in her 40s.
She must be. She's a young one. She's only a young one. She wouldn't remember Tupperware parties.
She wouldn't remember Tupperware parties. Okay, so back to the hydration box. How does it actually work, right? So you can do it to your flowers in advance before you use them. So if you're planning on doing maybe flower crowns, you could get all your flowers and you can place them in the hydration unit first, okay? And then you can take them out and you can actually design and create and make your flower crown. Or the same with buttonholes, is you could get all your flowers, you could prepare them in the hydration unit, and then you could remove them and you could then make the buttonhole. But to be honest, I'm kind of a little bit lazy about this. So what I like to do is actually make the flower crown or prepare the flowers for the flower crown, as in wire and tape them all up. Mightn't actually assemble it together, and I place all the flowers for the flower crown into my hydration unit. Or for buttonholes, I'd actually make all the buttonholes, make the corsages, do the wrist corsages, do the corsages for on top of the wedding cake. So literally complete them, do you know the way, and place them in the hydration unit. And you can easily do this 3 to 5 days in advance of the wedding. So if your wedding was on a Saturday, you could easily make all the buttonholes and the corsages on a Tuesday, use the unit, and they'll be absolutely perfect when you take them out on Saturday. And the other great thing is they actually last longer then. So when you remove them, they last longer than if you had it up on Friday morning or Saturday morning and made the buttonholes or corsages like near the time of the wedding. So what I need to do is prove this, because there's probably florists watching. You know the way we always have the Doubting Thomases. There's always say she's talking shite. We don't believe her. It doesn't work. So what I'm going to show you today is where I'm just going to place 2 flowers in our hydration unit, okay? And I'll show you exactly what I do to them. And then what you do is you place this in the fridge. And I'm not going to take it out of the fridge until next Friday. So literally 7 days later. And then we can show you exactly at what stage or what condition the flowers are 7 days later, okay? So I've done this in the bloom room with our students umpteen times, and they're always fascinated. And I think one of the last times we had it up to 11 days.
Yeah.
And like, it's just mad.
Viburnum, wasn't it?
Viburnum, which is a curse of a flower to last, you know, that way. And again, no problem at all. So as I said, these are flowers that we were working with during the week. And we would have purchased them on a Tuesday, which is really a Monday, because Monday was a bank holiday. So the flowers were already in the wholesalers, you know, I mean, on the Monday, but we were only able to pick or get them collected for the Tuesday. So I'm using some peonies, and during the week I added a new tutorial. You know what I mean? It's peony season. And I know I'm jumping from one thing to the other here, but we're trying to get everything in. And again, I hope everybody is click and share there, because we've lots of information, and we're going to have some giveaways. So have we anybody watching that has kids doing the leave and search? Okay, they need a highlighter pen to highlight all the important topics in the question to make sure they answer the right question. Okay, stick their name in the comments, and I'll get you to email us. There's one for everyone in the audience, and I'll get you to email me their address, and I'll post one off to them. So start posting their names there, anybody that's doing the leave and search. So back to our flowers, okay? It's peony season, and the big problem people are having at the moment is trying to get the peonies open. And like, this happens every year. And we actually have a blog on our website. Our website is flowerschoolireland.com. And at this stage, I'd say we're up to millions of hits on it. Are we doing?
Yeah, oh, millions.
Like,
yeah.
And from literally all over the world, you know, that way. And it was a blog I did about 4 years ago, I'd say.
Who did?
Well, I half did it, and you edited it. Okay, it was a joint venture. It was a joint venture. She's a bitch, isn't she? It was a joint venture, and it has had millions of hits from florists, non-florists, students all over the world. But we kind of felt it needed to be updated. So during the week, we started off with our peonies at their tight level, do you know that way? And we showed exactly how to treat, how to condition them, all the little tricks that you need to know, how to get them to basically to their prime. So we've now uploaded that to YouTube. So Sinead hopefully is watching there, and she's going to post the link in the comments. And maybe, Sinead, you might post it a few times, you know, that sort of way. So if anybody is watching this later on this evening, they'll be able to click on the link. And don't go and click on it now. I need you to stay here, okay? You'll be able to click on the link and, again, watch a video tutorial on how to condition, treat your peonies, but also how to prolong the life of them to make them last that little bit longer. So back to the hydration unit. Maybe you have a wedding coming up and you want to use the peony flower, okay, which is a flower that needs lots of water, by the way. And you want to use your peonies, maybe in your flower crown, maybe in your wrist corsage, maybe in your buttonhole. Maybe this is something we can demonstrate with you on one of the lives. Again, let us know if you'd like us to demonstrate something like that. So what you can do to take the pressure off yourself, okay, is you can pick out a flower. So let me see, pick one. Don't want one that's too big. This one here, okay.
Around so the other side, this one that's less open.
Less open, yeah. Is it? Around, let me see. I'll go for this one here. There's a nice one there, right? So there's just a nicely conditioned peony. It's 5 days old just at this stage.
The camera,
okay, there we go.
It.
So it's 5 days. My arm is hurting me when I do that. 5 days old at this stage, okay? And you can see there's still plenty of life. Just one of the petals has a bit of a mark on it, but there's still plenty of life left in that flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the stem. The length of the stem makes no difference, depending on if it's a buttonhole or a flower crown or whatever you're going to use it for. You know, that way you could cut it longer or shorter. And believe it or not, you can do this for a flower arrangement as well, or a wedding bouquet. But once you leave the stem longer, I need a longer box. So again, this is something that can be done. And again, you don't have to do it so far in advance. As I said, you can do it, you can, 3 to 5 days in advance of the wedding. But listen, you could do it 2 days before the wedding. But what this actually does, it makes the flowers last longer when they're actually out of water, right? So the length of the stem is completely up to you. I'm just putting it that length there, and I'm just removing that leaf, and I'm just placing it down in the hydration unit. So it's just lying down there as if it's in bed. I'm not spraying it, I'm not misting it, I'm not putting Chrysal Glory on it, done absolutely nothing to it. And then I have just, again, fabulous rose here. We were using these roses during the week, okay? I haven't removed the guard petals, so I'm just going to remove our 3 guard petals from around the outside of it, okay? And again, the length of this doesn't matter at all, okay? So again, I'm just going to cut it that length. I can leave it longer or shorter, and I'm going to lay that down the other end of the bed, okay? So it's like top to tail. You know, when you were kids, One slept in one end of the bed and the other one slept in the other end of the bed. And then we'll fight over the duvet. So this is our duvet. So this is just a wet tissue paper. It's a Christmas napkin, and I'm going to lie it down, get their head in, get in under the head. There we go. Lie it down on top of them and tuck it down the other head. There we go. So there's the two little kids covered in completely. Can you see in the hydration unit? You get your Tupperware lid. And you see
Paul said that Susie loves Tupperware. She's loads of lids and no bottoms.
That's what happens, isn't it? This is what happens. Where does all the boxes? It's like the sock fairy. Where does all the odd socks go? Do you know what I mean? So you put your lid on your box, right? And you stick that in your fridge. And
actually, that was the question, Janette. Is a florist fridge or normal fridge?
No, normal fridge. Normal household fridge. Okay, so it's not a cooling unit. It's an actual fridge, right? So hopefully your fridge is a bit like my one at the moment. Absolutely feck all in it. It's empty. And that's just a bottle of gin. That's all. A few bottles of wine and the tonic water. That's the only thing that's in my fridge at the moment. But that'll just slide in on the shelf, okay? And I'm going to take that out next Friday and remove the blanket. And we can see then, hopefully, please God, we can see the condition the flowers are at. 7 days in the hydration unit. Now, normally 3 to 5 days is what we recommend, but because we're not going to be live till next Friday, we'll have to leave it at the 7 days.
Paul says, so no extra ice or anything like that?
No ice, absolutely nothing. Just place that exactly as it is. Now, I remember my mum having a Tupperware box, and it was for putting the makings of a fry in. So it was kind of quite shallow, but it was nearly the size of the shelf in the fridge, you know, that way, and kind of shallow. And do you know that shaped box that I'm talking about? And she was able to put the sticks of pudding, the sausages and the rashers in it, and it's kind of slid in onto the shelf, you know, the way, like a narrow shelf in the fridge. And again, it just fit in perfect. Well, that sort of shaped box is brilliant for doing this, where you could have all your rose buttonholes. We just say it was a wedding, micro wedding at the moment, and you only need 8 or 10 buttonholes. You could have the 8 or 10 buttonholes made 3 to 5 days in advance, lay down on our blanket, you know, the way, covered with our other blanket, the lid sealed on, stuck in on the shelf of the fridge, take them out the morning of the wedding, and they will be 100% perfect for the day of the wedding.
Sweet William says, Aoife, thrilled for this tip, and you never disappoint.
Oh, we always have something new. Well, you see, that was because, again, Aoife would have been one of our classroom-based students.
Yeah.
So it's not that you lost out, but you did lose out. Sorry. But you see, now with the courses being online, do you know the way? And now it being, each module is a 4-week online program. It's so much longer, and we can include so much more, you know that way. So now, like, they're getting, like, on the module 1, I think it's something like 80 video tutorials, 100 on module 2 and 120 on module 3. We just were able to add and pack an awful lot more into the modules than we were able to, as much it was fun packed when you were here as a classroom based course.
Somebody says, Avril, can you put layers on top of each other, or would it damage the flowers?
No, you could layer them. No, you could layer them as well. Again, you know what I mean? Like, use your cop on about it, you know what I mean? And it depends on the flower. And you wouldn't put a rose on top of a gerbera, you know what I mean? Or a heavy flower on top of a light flower. So use a little bit of cop on. But again, you could kind of like layer them on the blanket, you know what I mean? And again, find them like the way your cat finds a little spot on the bed in between your legs.
To people is get a box and try it.
Yeah. I bet, like, the kids are all on their summer holidays now. Well, some of the kids are, right? There has to be a Melody lunchbox in the end of one of their school bags. Okay, go and find a school bag now. And there's a Melody lunch bag with a half-eaten ham sandwich in the end of the box, okay? Why don't you just get a bit of toilet roll will do, okay? Put a bit of toilet roll in the end of it. Go out to your garden, get a flower out of the garden. I'm saying even a feckin' little daisy, I swear to God. And just try this out because it's absolutely brilliant, okay? Go on.
Sorry, it's just a slow question.
Okay.
So for getting that far, so fully made with foliage on it, I presume she means
absolutely foliage, gyp, viburnum, hydrangeas. You know the way you would have been taught before not to break up hydrangeas because they wouldn't last, okay? You know what I mean? You're always told to like use a hydrangea as a full bloom, but you know you break up the little florets, and you know, I mean, we always would have been told, oh, don't do that because they don't last, and they didn't last. Well, I'm telling you now, you go and get a hydrangea. I bet you have one in the shop. Break up the little florets on it. Do exactly what I have told you there, right? Place it in the hydration unit, even 24 hours, 48 hours. Take them out, okay? Or silverware them before you do it, or actually make up a corsage or a wrist corsage or a little flower crown or whatever. Place it in, stick it in the box. take it out after 24, 36 hours, 48 hours or whatever, and watch how long it lasts. It's just amazing.
It's actually, there's a few comments coming in from past students of Module 3 who would have learned this, saying that it's just amazing.
Yeah, because I do this with the online students now, and like, you know what I mean, they all try it out. As I say, everybody has a bloody flower in the house, some sort of flower. Even if it's half dead, it won't bring it back to life, you know what I mean? But it'll be still half dead looking, do you know, that sort of way, but still at the exact same stage. Do you know what you'd love to do? You'd nearly like to put yourself in the box, get in the fridge, and you'll come out 5 years later and you still look exactly the same. You won't have aged, because that's basically what it's do. It's like, as my husband pronounces it, Botox for flowers. You know the way it holds them back, stops them going wrinkly, and keeps them young, fresh, and gorgeous looking.
Yeah.
Okay, we're ready to move on to the next stage, right? So that was one thing. How's the leaving cert coming on?
More. Oh no, sorry. Lisa on YouTube says. She's only just found her videos last week.
Janie Mac, where were you, Lisa, for feck's sake? Where were you asleep that you didn't find us? So we're here every Friday, most Fridays anyway. Coming up to the summer months, we'll probably be here less and less, because as soon as me home Martin tells us we can leave this fecking country, I tell you, I'll be on an aeroplane heading off somewhere anyway where there's going to be a little bit of sun.
Sweet William says, flower Botox.
Flower Botox, that's exactly. Botox is Tom calls it. Botox. Are they getting that Botox? Okay, this is like a, you know, it's not actually cellophane, you know that way, but it's basically, it is. It's a flower wrap. It's like a kind of cellophane wrap, but it's just in this nice kind of pink sort of colour. And you know us, we love a little bit of pink, okay? So I'm going to show you how, because I'm going to be using this as part of my arrangement today. It's a thing called a rondelle. But years ago, again, if we have any old school florists that are the same age as me, we were taught, and we called this a margarita. Now, whether you thought about it as being a cocktail or a pizza, you know what I mean? But margarita was the name of it. And years ago, you were actually able to buy them in. So all they were roundy pieces of cellophane, and they were for wrapping up bouquets of flowers or hand-tied bouquets of flowers, where nowadays we all kind of use the squares and the rectangles and folding them into the triangles. But a lot of students don't know, a lot of florists don't know how to make a circle. So I'm going to show you how to make a circle, but I'm using it as part of my arrangement today.
Just when you're doing that, Mary Siobhan says that all the deli counters do have lots of plastic boxes that they'd be happy to give away.
They probably
and
would.
They use them long ones, you know, for coleslaws and stuff.
And you know, like that one I had was quite deep. But as I said, the Sunday fry box that my mum used to have, you know, it was a shallower box. And as I said, it was nearly the size of the shelf that would be in your fridge. So again, you could slide a few of them in on top of each other, and then you wouldn't be layering the flowers too much. You know what I mean? And again, I'd absolutely, if anybody sees any bargains in Mr. Price, Mrs. Price, and who else?
Mr. Deals.
Paul, life at number 2. He's great for picking up deals, he is.
Yeah.
And again, he let us know if we get to see any bargain boxes around. So back to the cellophane, you fold this into a triangle shape on your table, okay? Now, you needn't be real exact about matching up the edges. I try to be kind of a little bit casual about it. And then with the scissors, you just slide the scissors along, okay, sharp scissors. I'm just going to hold this up just so that you can see it. So do you see the way, that's how you make a perfect square. Just believe me, if I open that out now, that is a perfect square. But I'm going to lay it back down on the table, okay? And I'm going to fold the triangle in half into a smaller triangle. And again, it's not going to be exact, okay? I'm going to hold it up for you there. You know what I mean? Like the edges aren't matching exactly. And now I'm going to lay it back down on the table, and I'm going to fold that triangle into a smaller triangle, okay? Normally, I wouldn't be lifting it up off the table each time. I just do it, but just so that you can see it yourself. See the way it's into a smaller triangle. And now I'm going to try and do it once more. So I'm going to fold that triangle in half again and kind of make it like a smaller triangle. And I actually think I'll get away with doing it once more. But just what I want you to keep an eye on, hopefully you can see this in the camera. Can you see where the cellophane is shorter there than down there, right? That part is important. So just keep an eye on that. I am going to do this again, by the way, in case anybody, the Alzheimer's has struck there and you're saying, what did she do first? I'm going to do it again, right? So then, I'm keeping going with this one. I'm going to lie down on the table. I'm going to fold it in half again. You try and fold it as many times as you can. And there's where the little short piece, you see, is in there. So where that short piece is, okay, you get your scissors, and it's up to you what design you want to cut. Like, you want to cut like a humpback bridge, or do you want to cut it into a castle, okay? So I'm going to go for a humpback bridge, as in up here in a hump and back down again. You know, like a half moon circle or a horse shape. Now again, it's not perfect, and I have got to be in here beside me in case Bernie Hurley is looking and she's saying she's thrown that on the floor. I didn't, okay? And what I'm now going to do is open it out. You see how it opens out? Okay, and what you end up getting is a circle. So hopefully they can see that in the screen, right?
Yeah.
So that's how you make what used to be known as a rondelle or a margarita. And as I said, years ago, you were able to buy them. Now, there's probably people watching and saying, how the heck did you do that? So I'm just going to lay that down there. I'll come back to it. So watch again. You open your cellophane out flat on the table, okay? And it's better if your table is dry. My one was a little bit wet the last time. So what I was doing was kind of like sticking to the table. You fold it into a triangle. So you get one corner, you know what I mean, bring it up, match the edges, okay? But you need to be real exact with it. And just where you have that straight edge, you get your scissors. Do you know, you could practice this on a sheet of newspaper just until you get the hang of it, okay? Slide your scissors along, and can you see the way you get a triangle shape? I'm going to lay it back down on the table, and I'm going to fold that triangle in half, and I'm going to make a smaller triangle. And if there's any dressmakers watching, they're probably saying, that's a dressmaking trick. And it is. This is what dressmakers do for making circles, okay? And again, you see the way you keep folding it? And then we fold it again. And I'm at the stage now where I need to watch there. Can you see that it's a little bit shorter? You keep an eye on that. You can fold it again. And then where the shorter piece is, which is just where my finger is, that's where you have to start cutting it. Now, you can cut lower than that, but you can't obviously cut higher than that. And if you want to, this time you could go for the castle. So the castle is where you kind of go up, get out of the way there, and back down again, and up, and back down again. And there's no way that's straight or perfect. Can you see there, Jesus? That would be some castle, wouldn't it? You'd be escaping out of it. But just to show you, if we just let it go, da-da-da-da, can you see the way it all opens out? And that's where you get your rondelle, okay? So this is your rondelle or your circular piece of cellophane. And you could do this with plain cellophane as well. I just thought the pink was nice. And you could have the two of them exactly the same. Or as I said, I've done the scalloped edge on one of mine. And then I've done kind of the pointy edge on the other one. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any difference. So there's our two pieces of cellophane. And you can just layer them on top of each other. Now this cello is quite heavy, it is. So if at home you're using a lighter one, you maybe want to do 3 layers as well, okay? When you see what I'm going to do with it. Now, the next thing, okay, you need a bag. Now, this isn't just any old paper bag, right? This is a bag that flower shops use. And obviously, we've lots of flower shops watching here. And I bet you have these bags, okay? So they're normally for sending out hand-tied bouquets. And they come flat packed like this. So you open the box, put your hand down inside it. There's normally a loose piece of cardboard, just to show you there. And that flattens down into the box. And then you can kind of like pull the handle there. There we go. So there's your one string. There's like a little shoelace thing at the end to stop it coming through, but just double check, okay? And there's your little bag there. You see, for sending out your hand-tied bouquets. And these are very reasonably priced. Now, anybody that's watching that's going into a flower shop to buy them, remember they have to make profit. They've had a bad year and a half, okay? So obviously you're not going to get them reasonably priced. Well, they will do it reasonable, but you have to allow that they're going to have a bit of profit on it. But if you go into a flower shop, they'll sell you one of them bags, you know, that way. And if there's any flower shop out there that's not going to sell them, you're absolutely mad, because the flower shop down the road is going to sell them to them.
Frances says that she does that for lining cakes.
Yeah, great idea. What kind of cakes?
We like cakes.
Look, like my husband loves a nice bit of homemade apple tart. It doesn't have to be made in my home. Any home will do, you know, that way. But he does fancy now, you know, typical culture. He likes a bit of apple tart. One.
Eileen says that's a great idea for doing veils. So when you're wearing a veil
absolutely,
the next time.
Yeah, there you go. So if you're getting married or making your Holy Communion, absolutely it'll do for a veil. So what I have next then is a block of floral foam, okay? And I already have this soaked, so to save time, I have it soaked. Now, the thing is, the box itself, or the bag itself, is quite deep. And I don't want the oasis like down too low, and I want the oasis up a little bit high. So I cheated. And I just got a bit of dry oasis, okay? It can be wet oasis that's not wet, or it can actually be styrofoam, you know, like dry oasis. Or do you know that like white aero board that you get in the, I'm going to say electrical shops? You know, they have them for packing around washing machines and, you know, that sort of stuff. If you go into any electrical shop, they'd have loads of that. I think the proper name is styrofoam. As a kid, you'd run it along the wall and you'd make white snow. Do you know the stuff I'm talking about? But a block of that in the end of this box, anything at all, it's just to bring the oasis up a little bit higher. So like there's nothing going to be stuck down into that.
Frances says sponge cakes, apple tarts.
A bit of sponge, yeah. I'd like sponge, a bit
Victoria
sponge,
yeah.
bit of jam now, fresh cream,
oh
absolutely.
My God,
Are you living in Dublin, yeah? What's the weather like?
And we are here tomorrow.
Oh, we're here tomorrow as well. All our Module 1 students are getting their flower delivery tonight.
Need a sugar rush.
I tell you, putting up with the Module 1 students, I definitely want more than a Victoria sponge. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go for the width of the bag, you know what I mean? So we just measure there we go, about that size there, maybe just go a little bit smaller just to make sure. I'm going to cut the block there. It's probably, I don't know, 2/3, 3/4, there you go, about that size there, just measure it. And what I'm going to do then is sit that down into the center of the rondelle. So if there are 2 pieces, hold on to that, don't throw that out yet. So our 2 pieces of cellophane. And what I'm going to do then is bring this up just around it, okay, nice and casual. You see like that there, okay? And then I'm going to drop that down into the bag. You see how easy this is? And can you see the way that's going to give a little bit of a fancy edge? And because the bag was a square and the bit of floral foam was a rectangle, I'm just kind of pushing it over to one side. I'm going to cut another little, I would call them a little wedgie, a little slice off it, you see like that there. And then I'm going to slide that down one side of it. And you know what? I could have done with another bit. I could have done with a fatter piece. So again, I'm just going to cut that again. It didn't work for me. There we go.
Says over on YouTube, Janette. Same process we're using for line your baking pins, sponge cakes and peonies. Oh my God, I'd be in heaven. So would I.
I'd be in heaven as well, absolutely. But you know what? What's her name again that's looking after us?
Frances.
Frances is she's off sipping the flare there at the moment. She is. So I'm just kind of pulling these like 2 layers, kind of separating them a bit. Like they are covering the oasis a little bit, but again I get the flowers in. So can you see what it looks like so far? So if you had an occasion, and again I know Paul, he has a wedding coming up. And what about like little gifts or little thank you bouquets or something that you want to give somebody as a present? You know the way? This is just such a simple, easy idea, you know the way, and having it all prepared in advance.
We just want people to share, Janette.
Are you not clicking share?
I think on Instagram.
Now listen, I'm going to stop here. If I'm not, I want to see the shares going up, okay? And to show me that you've done share, I want you to write just shared, just shared, just shared, just shared.
And on Instagram, we want you to tag somebody. Why not tag somebody you think might like this?
Absolutely.
Because we
but
really
here I am, sharing all my ideas, teaching you loads of things for free, and you won't feckin' share, okay? So start clicking share. Anyway.
And just actually, as regards Instagram, we have a bit of a race between yourself and Janette, who's going to get to the 10,000 first. So
I'm way behind. I'm way behind. I'm only on 4,000.
Yeah, and I think I'm on 6, but I would love a swipe up. I would absolutely love that. I've only another 4,000 to go. So
I could give you my 4,000.
Yeah, exactly. We pull the 2 accounts together.
Share them with you. So anybody that's on Instagram, you know the way, pop over and follow our page, give us a tag. Tag us in something, we'll definitely share you. Like,
and we have a great giveaway going up on Instagram this week.
Fabulous giveaway, yeah, absolutely. Like not just a goodie bag, it's going to be a goodie bag, you know that way. And it can only be an Instagram prize, and you can obviously only enter it if you're following us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting the goodie bag, okay? Yeah. So this morning when we were coming over to work, and as some of you know, when I say I live a stone's throw away from the school, so just in case your one comes with the apple tart and we're not here, just ring me because I'm literally across the road I am. But at the end, I'm going to throw it over to me there. There you go. So this is one part of the prize, okay, that we're going to have for our Instagram followers, a Kay's Flower School shopping bag, you know that way, completely exclusive, you know that way when you go out shopping.
Designer
bag, absolutely, designer bag. Fits loads of bottles of gin, no bother at all. You could get the glasses and all in there, but it's not going to come empty to you. It's going to come with lots of floral sundries in it. So especially anybody that's interested in flowers, okay? That's why I'm calling it a goodie bag, okay? Anyway, back to this morning. Heading over to work this morning. And Deirdre said to me, have you any greenery for this morning's arrangement? And I said, yeah, I have ruscas. So this is ruscas, which is a commercial foliage. A lot of flower shops buy it in. Now, when I say this lasts, oh my God, like this lasts what? 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks.
And
you know,
hydration chamber, probably
forever in the hydration chamber. Yeah, it absolutely lasts for ages. And I said, gotta have some ruscas over there. But there's like a planter at the end. Now, hopefully there's nobody in Rialto watching this, okay? But at the end of where I live, okay, which is literally across the road from the school, there's a big planter there is. And wasn't there fabulous lavender growing in it? And you know what? It just broke off and hopped into my handbag, broke off, I didn't even touch it. Did you?
No, I didn't touch it.
It just literally fell off, hopped into my handbag, and there we go. And I said, you know what? If that's in my handbag, we'd have to put it into the flower arrangement. We couldn't let it go to waste, okay? So back to our flower arrangement, just to kind of show you. So simple. we open. I'm like a gynecologist here, opening it up to get at the floral foam, okay? And there we go, just for a little bit of lavender that just, I didn't rub this or anything. This literally fell out of the arrangement, fell out of the container. And if anybody is from Rialto, just drop me a PM and I'll tell you exactly where you can get it, okay?
There's loads of them.
Absolutely loads of it there is. And you know what? You know the roundabout in Rialto? There is some fabulous stuff growing on the roundabout.
Don't pick that, because I'm looking at it out the window and I see and I video what you're doing.
Well, I tell you, when that Port Flanagan pub opens, I tell you, I'll be coming home one night and I'll be rubbing a little bit of it. So that's just a couple of little bits of lavender. Do you know that sort of way? As I said.
Sinead has just posted both our Instagrams up.
Oh, brilliant. Fair play to you, Sinead. So just to show you, just a couple of little bits of lavender into it. And again, that's cut. Now, we're going to put more than that in, but isn't it gorgeous? Like, imagine if more of it had fell off. If I had the goodie bag with me, you know what I mean? I only had my small little Louis Vuitton bag, you know what I mean? So I couldn't get much into it, you know, that way. To be honest, I'm probably not even going to need the ruscas now. So now to kind of like fill it up with a couple of flowers.
So, like what Paul said, he's going to help us get to 10,000 because he has loads.
He has loads. He's going to tell his followers, come over and join me back. Look after them poor ones over there in Rialto with their 2 big handbags. Okay, so we have a couple of these fabulous raspberry ripple roses. These always, I'm just taking off the guard petals here. These always remind me of, you know, that HB ice cream raspberry ripple. You know that way, they're just amazing. So again, we're just going to stick a rose in there. No particular pattern, no particular system. So again, if you bought a mixed bunch for yourself, and you know the way nearly all flower shops are selling like a little mini bouquet or a mixed bouquet, 10 euros, 15 euros, you know the way. So you could just pick up a little mini bouquet for yourself. And again, just whatever flower it is, whether it's a carnation or a few chrysanthemums or an odd rose or a stem of lilies, this is just a great way of using up little bits and pieces. And if you don't live in Rialto and you haven't got the lavender, oh, by the way, there is a house when you're going down the South Circular Road, nearly opposite the boxing stadium. I'd say it's a rented house, okay? And there's loads of the lavender growing out onto the footpath. So special permission, you can go and you can take some of that
Trim
as well.
That one. And actually, if anybody in Dublin has lavender in flower and that wants to cut it and give it to us, we will make you a lavender dory.
Absolutely.
And give it back to you.
And we give it back to you. And if you get the lavender up to us, we can post the just in case you live in the country, we can post the lavender wreath back to you. Or we can even post them down a speed swift box thing. You know, that sort of way. We can post you down a little box to pack it all into it, and then it's going to cost absolutely
nothing. We would need more than that's in the end of your
Oh yeah, no, that's not enough there. You'd need to rob a lot more. You'd want a big, not a black sack, but you'd want a big version of the Louis Vuitton bag. Okay, again, a couple of peonies just stuck down into it, one a little bit higher than the other. Are you getting the idea? Like no particular pattern. Again, if you happen to have another rose, you know that way. Like I want this to be real casual. I like to remove the guard petals off the roses. Some florists that are watching probably say they don't do it. It's completely personal choice, you know that way. But this arrangement is not like you need 3 of this and 2 of this and 1 of this. You can basically use whatever you want. I have a couple of the avalanche roses, you know the way. Now these are fabulous blown. These were about 80 centimeters long when we bought them in. And obviously for a wedding, you definitely would remove the guard petals off these, okay? The leaf, it's up to yourself. Sometimes I remove some of the leaf and sometimes I leave some of the leaf on. And again, just to kind of give you an idea, can you see what I'm saying? Like just very casual, do you know that way? No particular height. Like I want it to look like you grabbed a bunch of flowers, you know the way, and you just stuck them into a bag, you know the way, and there you are going home carrying it. Or for this little bag just to be sitting on your kitchen table or your nested tables or whatever it might be, just nice and casual.
Sheila says, what's this? We'll all be out borrowing lavender.
Absolutely. It's called relocating. Yeah. So you know the way they have to relocating to Spain? Well, now you're just relocating the lavender from one side of the road to the other side of the road. So that's all you're doing.
From the road to your door.
Absolutely, and nobody minds. And if anybody ever questions you, you know that way, what you do with that, you always just say it's for charity, the nursing home, the scouts,
and then you have to go
to the church.
Yeah,
they all love the church, they do.
Yeah.
Like, just say it's for the church, and you'll have absolutely no problem at all. Just tell them in case flowerschool said that you're allowed to rob it. So again, you can just say very, very casual. Do you know that? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Where will I go? I think I'll stick another one there.
Liberate the lavender. The Irish Flower Garden says. I keep forgetting to put scissors in my car.
I have one on the door of the car. I have. You know the way. And people often say, is that there in case you get attacked? I said, no, that's scary in case I ever see any greenery that I can rob. And I'm always kind of see something, you know what I mean, that I can kind of use, whether it be here in the school. And I love, like, at these Friday lives, is to be able to use stuff that you can get, you know, that way. Like Deirdre's Ceanothus now is just in flower. And maybe next Friday we might actually do that.
Next Friday,
so I think next Friday, that's what we'll do, is I'll do like an arrangement just using Ceanothus, not just Ceanothus, but you know, that way, from your own garden. So again, like, keep an eye out now during the week for any garden that you see that has some Ceanothus growing. So can you see exactly what I'm doing there? Just keeping it very casual. Will I get one more peony in? It's kind of fairly tight with peonies. Might go for another rose, will we? Don't want it overpacked, you know, the way, keeping it kind of like simple. Some people are probably saying, why is she only removing the guard petals now? She should have probably done that when she got the flowers in first. Yeah, probably should have. But we were busy doing videos during the week, making arrangements. And as I said, we were doing all these so that we have some pre-recorded live tutorials that we can post. Keep you busy during the summer when I'm off sunning my arse, getting a bit of sunburn on my arse. Now, I'm just going to add in a tiny little bit of the ruscus here and there, just for a bit of texture. Do you know that way? Just a little bit, because it is a nice greeny. Can you see it there? And if you are ever like have to buy foliage and you have to buy maybe a bunch, but you only need a half a bunch, I'd recommend that you buy a little bit of ruscus, because the half a bunch that's left over, it will last for ages. And you can use it for flower range, and it's a bit heavy for a wedding bouquet. Wouldn't, like, you could use it, you know what I mean? A gift bouquet would be absolutely perfect for a gift bouquet. But our flower ranging, it's great for flower ranging, funeral work. I'd say that's nearly enough in it there. So there you go, a very, very casual. I'm afraid to hold this up in case the handles go on, because it's only like two little shoelaces, you know, kind of like holding them.
Right. But holding a hand tight bouquet though.
It will, exactly. And there you go. There is your little gift bouquet. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. And as I said, it's something that you give a present to somebody that's maybe in hospital. I know one of our,
you know, if you haven't got a container, you haven't got something at home.
Yeah, one of the students this morning, can't remember what her name was, she's in Wexford General Hospital. So
Linda Benson.
Linda Benson, hopefully you're feeling well. She's not having a baby, but I can't tell you what's wrong with her. So Linda, if you're watching, hopefully everything is okay, and thinking of you. And I know Margaret Mitchell is in Sligo, I think it's called Sligo General Hospital this morning. She's not having a baby either, but we're not telling you what's wrong with her either. And hopefully she's well too, and she's keeping good.
And we would love if, was it Sharon as well on our module 2 that was pregnant?
Can't think what her name was. Yeah, I mean the module 2 students that were here from the Aurelia room. Do you remember the girl that was pregnant and she was due her baby a week after the course? Can't think what her name was. I wonder what she had, you know, the way, and chance of posting a little photograph of the baby, obviously. Okay, did we get anybody for the markers?
No, nobody commented with their kid's name.
Nobody has any kids.
Hang on a second. Oh, hang on.
Not even little Emily Rose is not watching.
There would not be a bit of lavender anywhere together. Sorry, I have loads of comments. Oh, Louise Meredith is watching him.
Hi, Louise. How are you? How's things in Wales?
Lavender will become so rare as it gets to get as a flake in year 99.
Yeah, bit of jam on top of it. And as I said, like, we can do some fabulous lavender wreaths. You know what I mean? We just need to get the lavender. And like last year, it was a little bit late when we got it, really.
Yeah, it was
late. I kind of want to be getting it now when it's just at its best. You know that way? And the wreath does be amazing. Like last year was very small because I was restricted with what I had. But if I get a decent amount of it, and as I said, you'll get it back, you know that way. So
as a door,
I only want a end of it, and I'm going to send it back to you. And Sally from Sligo, Sally Siggins watching, how is the barley or the wheat coming on in the fields in Maharel? So it'll be your turn now to get a box of that stuff ready for me.
Doing her leaving cert, Sarah Morrissey. Olive says she done her leaving cert years ago. Does that count?
Of course it counts. Absolutely.
Drop us an email.
With your address.
4 o'clock.
Before 4 o'clock. No point in doing this on Monday, okay? So anybody that wants one of the highlighter pens for any of their kids.
We have about the first 10 or so.
There's about 10 or 12 of them there.
Yeah.
And just drop us your address and we'll stick them in the post to you. So listen, everybody, huge thanks for joining. Hope you picked up a couple of tips there. Remember to come back next Friday so I can show you the hydration chamber that we demonstrated at the beginning, just to let you see how the flowers actually held up in the hydration chamber. And next week, again, we're going to have another fabulous demonstration. Again, real easy stuff that you'll be able to get from around the house or someone else's garden, a little bit of foraging. And in the meantime, if there's anything that you'd like us to show, just comment there below. Huge thanks for your support. Remember to click share. Even if you've shared already, go and click share again. And as I said, share it into other groups, okay? We'd really, really appreciate that if you shared it into other groups. As I said, we're trying to battle our way with Facebook and Instagram algorithms. And remember, pop over to us on Instagram, because remember that goodie bag, okay? Yeah. We'll probably get that posted maybe on Monday, I'd say. Yeah. On Monday, we'll have that competition set up or whatever, and we'll be able to announce the winner for the goodie bag next Friday. So listen, it's bye from me. Bye from Deirdre.
Bye from me.
Bye from Sinead. Sinead's over in Scotland. And listen, huge thanks for joining us. Bye-bye. See you then.